and welcome to Gangneung here on the east coast of the Republic of Korea, the World Para Ice Hockey Championships 2017. And these are the beautiful views of both the Olympic and Paralympic venues that will be home to, of course, the Paralympic Games here in a year's time. But it's inside this venue here, the Gangneung Hockey Center, where we're contesting at the moment the World Championships for Para Ice Hockey. And of course, it will be the home where the Paralympic Games will be next March. But who will come back here as the reigning world champions? Well, let's go inside and have a look as we are inside now the Gangneung Hockey Center. And we have our final match of game day number 5, the host, Republic of Korea, taking on Sweden. And both of these teams, well, Republic of Korea currently sitting in 3rd position at the moment, and Sweden sitting in 7th position. It's the Republic of Korea who will be hungry as well to keep their good form going, and Sweden desperately need to get some points in order to get themselves potentially into that qualification position automatically via this tournament, potentially right on through to these games in a year's time. I'm Brent Pope, joined alongside by Jonathan Bell, and we've seen great action already today, John, but this one here, Republic of Korea, they have performed so well in this tournament, we don't expect anything to slow down here this evening.
Absolutely. The crowd tonight have come here expectant of another Republic of Korea win because they've been so good so far in these championships. I think they've blown us away. They've certainly blown themselves away, I think, as well, and surpassed expectations. But they'll certainly be looking to not let that up here. They're against the Sweden side, who have been one of the poorer sides we've seen so far in these championships. And they'll be expecting another 3 points on the board, will the Koreans.
So they'll want to start quick, and they will need to get out of the gates early. But Jonathan had an opportunity to chat with the Sweden coach before this game, and we'll listen to his thoughts here now.
Okay, so Jürgen, how do your players feel after yesterday's break?
Today I think it's been a nice game for us. We have one day rest, and we can, I hope all players is in good condition.
Do you feel confident ahead of this game?
No, it's a game against all other games.
And you said against Norway that you wanted to open up. Is that the same tactic tonight?
Yes, the same.
Okay, and is this a must-win game? Do you have to win this game if you're going to finish in 5th or 6th?
I want to win all games, but if realistic, no, it's tomorrow. You must win, but this is another game tomorrow. But we play for win, of course.
And you said you've got a small squad with a lot of players with not much experience. Do you think the experience has been good for those players in these championships?
I hope so. It's always so.
Best of luck, thank you.
Well, he's certainly not subtle, is he, Jürgen Lundgren? Straight away saying there that he's not confident ahead of tonight's game. And I think when he said that tonight may be a must-win, but tomorrow is the big one against Germany. Germany currently 6th in the standings and Sweden 7th. And I think they'll be eyeing up the Germans as the best possible chance of getting a maiden 3 points on the board.
Well, it's all about balancing out output and equally ice time amongst your team. In Republic of Korea, they had an off day between their first and their second game. They will want to continue to keep impressing here at home. And Jonathan also had an opportunity to catch up with the Republic of Korea's coach ahead of the match.
Oh, Teo, how much confidence did the performance against Canada give you?
It's a team Canada game is a best good condition. So, and Gangneung is a really best good goalie. It's a 39 is a percentage save on so shoot on goal. So best good, and all players are best good job.
How important is Young Sung Wan to your team?
Sung-Wan Jung, number 14, is a very important player because he is a make a 1 point or 2 points just one game. So very good player and speedy and good, and countering and seeing that making chance, very good player.
And what do you make of Sweden tonight?
Today games, Sweden, so we are second match, remember, so 2015 in Sweden. So really break away is the best good, and so if we win, if we make a chance, so today game is the best game, I think so.
Are you doing better in these championships than you thought you would?
Yeah, so it is very important today game because if we game today win, so best way go to that top 5 Pyeongchang Paralympics. So very important.
And do you think you could get a medal by the end of these championships?
So, yeah, so it's very important, but it's a bronze medal or a gold medal, so we wanted to that. So today, this tournament.
Thank you very much, Teo. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, a wee wry smile there from Kim Tae-ho at the suggestion of possibly being one of the bronze medal contenders at the end of these championships. But there's no doubt about it, come Thursday, we certainly expect the Republic of Korea to be at least competing in that third, fourth playoff match. They've been absolutely outstanding so far in this tournament, and I think that was just a bit of modesty there coming from the assistant coach.
Well, one of the things that has helped the Republic of Korea is their team defense. They haven't conceded many goals, and they haven't scored a lot of goals, but they've been timely goals when they have had them. But in goal themselves, they have two goaltenders, one with an average of 1 point goal a game, or 1.0, and 1.5. As we look at our goaltender here, Gangneung, who will get the nod in this one here today. He's played in 2 complete games, and 39 saves against them on the 42 shots that he has faced. They've been excellent. They've had a balance in goal, but Gangneung has come forward, particularly the game that they played against Canada, where they were only defeated 2-0. They have been special and equally a huge part of why the Republic of Korea are sitting in the position they are now.
Yeah, we seem to think of the Republic of Korea as a side that are good on the puck and quick, but actually defensively they've been absolutely outstanding, and they're so fast to those second pucks that they don't really allow even sides like Canada the sort of room to do what they want. Canada frustrated to a 2-0 win only against the Republic of Korea, and that was absolutely testament to the defensemen of the host nation.
And they also, as we say, have that power up front. They've been able to score those key goals. And a man who's been able to get 3 points in the 3 games they played, their number 14, Jung Si-won, is a key player to be looking out for in this one. Fast, quick, very opportunistic, and is able to really be a game breaker for Republic of Korea.
Yeah, I asked Kim Tae-ho, the Republic of Korea assistant coach, about him, and he explained just how important he is to this Republic of Korean side. They're certainly not a one-man team, but if there is a poster boy and a golden boy in this side, it's certainly Korea's number 14. He has been excellent so far and provided some much-needed points when they've needed them.
So a good balance amongst the Republic of Korea. Equally, as we look across at Sweden, they've been heavily reliant upon their goaltending position, as much is the case in this tournament. You see, Ulf Nielsen has been the standout. They've got a little bit of a balance where they had Andreas Newman in there for 16, just under 17 minutes, but the 52-year-old for Sweden is heavily relied upon and will be in this match as well. Absorbs a lot of pressure, has a great glove hand, and is able to settle down this team defense when he's faced with a lot of shots.
Yeah, he's faced a shed load of shots this week, that is absolutely for sure. He has held the defensive community of the Swedish team together at times, and it could have been a lot worse for them. Even defeats against the USA and Canada that weren't very pretty, he has managed to hold them together in what has been a tough week for them, and I'm sure they made the most of yesterday's day off.
Well, they've not had a lot of goals to come by, Sweden, in this tournament so far, but one to look out for. A lot of speed is their number 8, Per Kasperi. He did get a goal in their opening matchup, made things interesting against the Italians, and he's one that if they can get him the puck, Ingvarsson is another player, number 3, but Per Kasperi is capable of trying to go through defenses and at least attacking the offensive blue line with some speed, and he'll be one to look out for today.
Definitely. Also the number 3, Ingvarsson, as well, is sort of the orchestrator of things. When Sweden get the puck, they look to him to sort of advance from defence to offence. They do struggle, Sweden. They do try and dump it in the corners and chase onto them, but I think with the pace of the Republic of Korea, they may have to change that tactic tonight. They wanted to open up against Norway, and coach Jørgen Lundgren said that it would be the same tonight as well. So it looks like it should be an expansive game from the Swedes.
It expects to be that the Republic of Korea are going to set the pace, set the tempo in this hockey game, as they have not been able to necessarily in the games they've taken on so far. They've been able to score the first goal, but they've been leveled, and then they found a way to score a goal in the third period. Against Canada, they did not score, but now they expect here, maybe against Sweden, to be able to initiate with the offense and try to get out of the blocks early. So we are just awaiting the final arrival of the players out onto the ice, so we'll pause for a moment as we prepare to provide the coverage of Sweden versus Republic of Korea coming up in just a few moments' time. And the officials out and ready on the ice, and therefore players will be allowed in a moment. It's the Canadian referee for this one, Kevin Webinger. And here you see him with the bands on, and he has his 2 linesmen from Serbia, Tibor Fasekas, and from the Czech Republic, Jan Vanek, are the 2 that will be alongside him as they get themselves limbered up and prepared for this one. As we say, it's the evening match, which has generally been the Republic of Korea in the competition so far, with maybe the home support able to come out and attend and see and get a look at para ice hockey, and of course as well support the home side. As there you see the 3 crowns of Sweden making their way out, they with the yellow and the blue trim, and both teams in good spirits as they get themselves limbered up and ready for this one.
Yeah, obviously we heard in the pre-match interview and from the Swedish coach, and he said that he'd go all out, and also that he's got a limited squad as well. You can see a lot of Swedish players in that roster, but only 9 really with experience that he likes to use. Of course, Ulf Nilsson starts as the goaltender, the number 5 there. Defenseman number 3, Niklas Ingvarsson, as I mentioned earlier, certainly one to watch. And number 8 in that forward square there is Per Kasperi. Make sure you keep your eye on him. Anything that Sweden do good should be through one of those 2.
So Christian Hedberg as well, a big blue liner for Sweden, capable of being physical. They're going to need to maybe employ that in order to slow this Republic of Korea side down. And there you see Republic of Korea. It's Gangneung who's going to get the start in goal. So a 1.5 GAA, so goals against average, and a 92.86 save percentage. Those are great numbers by anybody's record. All the way through this lineup, though, you really look, though, it's number 14, number 21, Lee Jun-sung. Number 27 is Cho Byung-suk. He's actually still suspended for this one as a result of a collision against the Norwegian player a couple nights ago. And as well, you see the captain there, Jang Jong-ho, is also a very capable center iceman, good face-off winner, and plays a good, strong, 2-way game for Republic of Korea. As we say, underestimated for their defensive abilities. A lot of us are talking about their ability to score that 3rd period goal to get the winner, but defensively as a unit, really it's just a 6-player block there defensively. Han Min-soo and Jang Dong-shin are a couple that really stand out for the Koreans on defense.
And that's what's going to be really interesting tonight, Brent, because what you're going to have is the Republic of Koreans facing a side that are happy to defend themselves in Sweden. Jürgen Lundgren there, the spearhead of that Swedish side. They are certainly here tonight to try and keep the Republic of Korea team quiet, but Korea are used to being the team that defend themselves, so it's going to be a completely different game plan for them. They're going to have to take the game to Sweden and show them what to do. For the first time at these championships, it's going to be interesting to see how Korea adapt to that game plan.
And Seo Kwon-suk, he is the one who defers to his assistant coach to do most of the interviewing. You can see that he's very passionate and, of course, very well understood by his Republic of Korea team. As there you see Ulf Nilsson and his stats for this one. He's 7.46 is his goals against average, 76.92 his save percentage, and he's had the lion's share of ice time with 162 minutes of the 180 that they have played in this competition so far.
Yeah, he's an absolute veteran, and here we have the goaltender for the Republic of Korea. It looks like it's Lee Jae-woong, in fact, which just shows the calibre of goaltender that Korea have at their disposal. It could have been either Yoon Man-yeon or Lee Jae-woong. They've gone for the latter at the last minute, it seems, and he's certainly been superb so far in these championships. So we are just seconds away from the start of this one. Brent touched on the crowd that have been appearing for these evening games when Korea have been in town, and they've certainly not disappointed here in numbers again here tonight for this one, as they look for Korea to put another 3 points on the board. And they've made a very swift start to the competition, and they'll be looking to make a swift start to this period as well, and they're quickly out of the traps and straight away trying to get onto the loose puck, but Sweden here can enjoy the early bit of possession.
So an unusual position for Republic of Korea to maybe assert themselves. They're very capable when the opportunity presents itself, but to necessarily be the initiator from the off, it's an unusual position, so it'll be interesting to see how well they manage that aspect of the game.
It's a good chance for the Million as well, being roared on by the crowd. The low strike comes in by Lee Ju-sung. It just goes wide of the near post, and momentum is broken down for the host nation as Sweden look to quickly get out the traps and come down the left channel. It's a strong challenge coming in early on. And we touched on the injury earlier of Oyler Oysef, which means that, of course, there is that suspension for the Korean, number 27. But it shows that whoever they're playing, they don't hold back and they are prepared to have a go. Dangerous pass that back by Kasperi across the blue zone, but it managed to be cleared by Korea, who perhaps have a break on now as the puck is battled away in the neutral zone.
Sweden with some thoughtful passing plays. They haven't been overly precise, but they've been a little bit more imaginative and a little bit more willing to move the puck and let the puck do the work. It often, of course, moves much quicker than they can on their sleds, so let the puck do the work, utilize the full width and depth of your personnel on the ice, and that's probably a better game plan from Sweden. It also is less tiring if you can utilize your position on the ice and advance the puck accordingly.
Well, they're going to be quickest onto this one here. Rakos from the loose puck, although he showed too much of it to Young Sung-wan. And the Korean star said was going to get it away, but he struggled to, and Sweden almost had a half opportunity there. It's been a bit scrappy from both sides so far, and Young Sung-wan being taken down the wrong alleyway by his own teammate there. Diverted away from the puck in the end by Lee Jong-young. So that was just showed how these sledges, you can't have 100% control over them. That just shows the unpredictable nature of this sport and why we love it so much.
Well, you see, they do get a line sometimes, particularly if they're in close proximity, and you see it even in contacts, and that was actually two teammates just kind of going alongside each other, just getting hooked onto one another.
Now Sung-wan, you can hear the energy in the crowd as he comes forward with it. It's a good challenge from behind as well. An important one from Ingvarsson, and he storms over the halfway line. He's got a bit of room around him as well. Kasperi's doing well to divert the attention of the Koreans away from Ingvarsson. He has a strike. He'll land behind the back of the net for Kasperi, who goes for a tight-angled effort, which Lee Jae-woong is equal to, and he makes the game's first save.
As confident as Ingvarsson and Per Kasperi have been in the last couple of games offensively, they actually waited for each other to make it a little bit of a pick in front of the other one, and were able to take advancement of that puck to the neutral zone, and that's encouraging for Sweden, who've really lacked a whole lot of puck time and being able to make plays themselves and try to initiate some entrance into the zone with a little bit more of a game plan.
I think what summed Sweden's tournament for me was in the last game against Norway in that big Scandinavian clash. It was a real struggle for them in the first period, but in the second period they enjoyed so much of the puck, they actually looked as if they were going to get it back to 2-2 from being 2-0 down at the start of that period. And in the end, they had a power play, they conceded a power play, and then what you saw was Norway take the advantage, take the game by the scruff of the neck and take it 4-1 by the end of it.
Well, it's often just the little things in a hockey game, isn't it? We saw that actually earlier on today. Canada were in charge 1-0 over the United States, and they took a penalty, an ill-advised one, offensive zone penalty that really they could have done without, and that changed the fortunes of the game.
Yeah, it was a real great advert for para ice hockey, that game earlier between Canada and America. A real bloodbath between the two sides. And it certainly was a very good dress rehearsal for what we expect could be the gold medal match on Thursday. But Korea will definitely be in the conversation, and we'll look to have something to say about that. So Sweden with the possession here. Nice bit of stick handling as well from them. The offload isn't the greatest, but they'll manage to scramble to maintain possession. But look at that quickly. 3 Korean players swarming around the puck. It's not good enough, though, because now Sweden have found that space and they could work a chance here. The shot just goes wide. I say just, it could have taken a deflection and made things awkward, but in the end it went a comfortable distance away from Lee Jae-woong's goal. But a couple of early warning signs from the Swedes.
Well, there was a couple, maybe a better option. That one going to the net, Marcus Holm was in a better position and couldn't quite see that that was available. And maybe if Sweden just had the sights a little bit more alert and a little bit more offensively confident, they might have made that play. But you're starting to see Sweden playing a better brand of para ice hockey in this matchup against Republic of Korea than maybe we might have expected.
And of course, a lot of attention from Sweden will be on tomorrow's game against Germany, because that really is the game where they have to win. If they can get something from this, it'll certainly be a bonus. But tomorrow is where one eye will be on at this point. Kasperi does well with the charge, and he still tries to steamroll his way down that right channel. Touch was a bit heavy from him, and it's well swept up by Lee Jong-young. But there's a real intensity there. There's a bit of a flashpoint between Kasperi and the number 12, Kim Yong-sung. But there's a real hunger and drive there from Sweden, which we didn't see in the first couple of games. And perhaps they see the Republic of Korea as a side that they can be competitive with and get something out of.
Well, they certainly have played that way so far, and a team, they have a lot of experience, Sweden. They're capable of playing good hockey at this level, at World Championship level. Yes, they were in the Paralympic Games in Sochi now just 3 years ago, and then by relegation coming out of that, and then having to qualify back through Pool B into Pool A, and they've been able to do that. And remember, these two teams met in that Pool B competition. It was Republic of Korea who won it, but it was a tight game in that competition as well. So these two have seen each other in important matches before, and Republic of Korea know that Sweden can hang tough with them.
And that is absolute testament as well to the Republic of Korea, because in that pre-match interview, Jürgen Lundgren sort of said, we've got no chance against the Republic of Koreans. But of course, not too long ago, it was a case of Sweden and Republic of Korea hammer and tong at it, very equal. But today, so far, nothing separating the two sides. And that's an icing call that. So play will be brought back all the way into the Swedish defensive zone.
And they've done well. Of course, that's been the hallmark a little bit of Sweden so far, taking a lot of icings against, and that's generally a sign of a team that's just trying to get rid of pressure and unable to maybe make that positive play and make those 1-2 passes that get out of your own end zone. But they have been able to avoid a whole lot of that so far in the opening 7 minutes, and that bodes well for them.
Real good chance there, scrambling around in Nielsen's area, and there's a bit of battling going on too. A few afters, and the officials, all three of them getting involved there, and rightly so. Nielsen definitely had a grab hold of the puck. There was a lot of attention close by as well. Yang Dong-shin was in there sniffing around. But Nielsen, who not only has conceded quite a few this week, he's probably taken quite a few bruises as well, and it's from incidents like that. So we take our first break of this game. It's currently goalless. Korea 0, Sweden 0. So welcome back then to the Gangneung Hockey Centre here in the Republic of Korea, the host nation locking horns with Sweden. Goalless so far, very limited as well in the way of opportunities for either side. It's been a very tight contest, Brett.
Well, I'm not sure that we actually would say that we've got a recorded shot as yet. Of course, we'll see as we go through and get the official stats, but neither team, as you say, have really flirted with a whole lot of danger at either end at the moment. Both times there looked as though something was going to be developing. There hasn't been any penalties as yet, so it's pretty level pegging right now, which suits Sweden just fine. I think the longer this game goes on scoreless, of course, the more confident they become, and that will be exactly what they expect. And as you say, they think this is a bonus match for them, and they're focusing on tomorrow. They're certainly not playing like that.
Absolutely right, and it's been very, very square and even Steven so far, but a chance for the home fans to get excited as Korea come forward, and they have the shot. Nielsen, with the first save of the game, really manages to get a right stick to it down at the near post and divert it away. Korea will look to try and keep the possession on, despite the fact that they're pushed back to the neutral zone.
And that's a curious play right there from Republic of Korea. And they're fortunate not to have been called for too many players on the ice there, Sweden, as these line changes for Republic of Korea are often awkward situations. They go off the ice slow and they come on the ice quick. And those two combinations together generally means that you're going to get too many players on the ice. Sweden were fortunate to have avoided one there themselves. And that was a little bit of good luck for both teams.
Yeah, both sides in these championships have come on the wrong end of those sort of calls because of pretty needless stuff. I remember the Koreans were given a penalty for not coming out for the next period on time, and it's those sort of little needless things that can be easily ironed out, and I'm sure experience will come with that. Rakos has possession. Just to try and feed one into the far corner, but it's easily picked off by the Koreans, but he'll come straight back at them again. And that one is a more successful slam into the corner.
But I was going to comment just a moment ago, when Republic of Korea had the puck in the offensive zone, they didn't look as though they were advancing any further. They wanted to keep collection of the puck, but they just needed to reload with their defense, and they didn't really look back to see at the blue line if their defense was ready. It went out into the neutral zone, and it's plays like that with puck management that just shows a little bit of the inexperience from Republic of Korea, who have a lot of elements of a very good top team in the sport of World Para Ice Hockey, but have a few of those little mental things that need to still be adjusted and tweaked in order to really be a consistent, high-level performing team.
Young Sung-wan with the puck at his stick, comes forward, does really well, he pulls it square, and that's the opening goal of the game. Republic of Korea take the lead, and it's Gangneung who gets it, to his delight and to the home fans' delight as well. Not their best performance so far in this opening period, but they still, Brent, managed to get the opening goal.
Well, they just got a nose for the net, don't they? And it just goes right into the net there, Jang Jung-ho, as he gets this feed here from Jung Si-won. Who else? And just as soon as Jung Si-won gets it, there is Jang, who just goes into a position to get this play back, and he goes right into the net, literally, to make sure that that puck goes into the net. And it's just those types of opportunistic plays. Those are fantastic elements to Republic of Korea's game plan and how they're able to finish plays when they get such limited opportunities.
See there on the screen for captain, see also for commitment, as you say, Brent, slamming himself with the puck straight into the back of Ulf Nilsson's net. And that is Young Sung-wan's second assist of these championships and 4th point in total. A superb start for the Koreans on the scoreline. They've been slow out the traps, but after 10 minutes, they draw first blood and they lead by 1-0, and they quickly look for a second. Bit of an optimistic effort that time coming from Choi Kwang-yuk. Still the pressure's on though, and Sweden will have to make sure this doesn't rattle them.
They do have to just keep their thoughts about them, and that can easily happen. You can get disjointed, you can start feeling good and starting to fall a little bit in love with your success that maybe is to your surprise, and then all of a sudden you have a little bit of a breakdown in it, and all of a sudden you can falter and fall away in those moments, those little dips. I mean, there's 6 areas of a hockey game you're most likely to concede after you score or after a goal against you, and Sweden need to be strong right now. It's 1-0 Republic of Korea over Sweden.
So Republic of Korea leading by 1-0. The goal coming through number 53, Yang Yong-ho, the 33-year-old Korean captain, also a local boy as well from Pyeongchang. And that was evident in his delight of getting that one. They almost get a second, a left paw on that one by Ulf Nilsson. Wise to it. It's a real stinger coming in towards his goal.
All sorts of pace on that one. I think even surprised Ulf Nilsson, who has such an exceptional glove hand. That one, though, at mid-level height, we have seen for the goaltenders, seems to be a little more tricky. If it's not up into the upper areas of the net at that mid-level height, they seem to be half decided as to whether to play it up or whether to palm it down. And that's a difficult zone to be catching the puck in.
Certainly is. And Sweden will look for a bit more territory in the Korean defensive zone, because before the goal they were looking good and looking bright. But since they seem to have taken their hand off the handle, but they need to reassert themselves. They try and slam one in towards goal there, nothing doing. It's all about picking up them loose pokes, and currently it's the Koreans that are doing it the better. Here's Young Sung-wan again. Worms in and out of a couple of challenges. He's still being pressurised. That time by Lundgren. And still on he goes.
Well, he's almost able to draw the defense with him. 1, 2 players trying to stay with him, and he just draws so much attention towards him that he creates an opening in and behind the defending players.
It's not easy at all what he's doing as well. He's using the left stick to sort of propel forward, and the right with the blade, trying to stick handle effectively and make sure he churns out an opportunity. And he's done it very successfully so far.
Well, we saw him earlier in the tournament where he only had 1 stick blade, and he was trying to track down the Canadian defenseman Steve Arsenault, and he was able to keep up with Arsenault with just the 1 stick blade, just propelling himself, keep balance, keep upright, as here they are flirting again.
And it's a real opportunity, and still they have the chance. It's slammed in towards goal, but that all came there from a back flick from Young Sung-wan round the corner. He slams one in towards goal, and it flashes wide, and he's certainly taking this game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, he's just all action, and we, of course, gave him his due ahead of the show, and we expect him to be a danger man, and he's proven us right again with just his assertiveness, and he just is able to really, he's a game breaker, and a player that when he has the puck on a stick, the opposition must respect him, or he's the kind of player that's going to open up further score.
And it's absolutely not a one-man team as well for the Republic of Korea, because what he does is, when he gets the puck, he draws the defenders with him, and it allows the space for the other very effective Korean players to utilise that room and try and do something punishing from it.
Well, you see what happens is when he does get the puck, even if it's not an odd man rush, what they do is they just put their head down and put total commitment into getting speed to the net, because they know they're going to get service from him, and ultimately they do end up creating an odd man rush, even if it's just ahead of the goal line.
And of course, when the Koreans are up against it defensively, and the backs are to the wall, he's the man you want to sort of relieve the pressure, take the puck into the offensive zone, and everyone else can have a bit of a breather. Very effective player. Young Jae's another one, and he almost hit the target there as well. Slammed it over apex of crossbar meeting post, and he was very close to a second. But territorially, in the past 3 minutes or so, it has all been towards our right-hand side, and Sweden are riding a very high storm.
Well, it's been almost like a 5-on-5 power play, and although they haven't had the player advantage, but they're just about to enjoy it now, as the Swedish team does touch the puck, and you see the Canadian official now indicating that there will be a call against Sweden with 1 minute and 8 seconds left officially actually in the game clock. It's 1:16. Regardless, it's an interference call against Sweden, and you don't need to give a second invitation for Republic of Korea. If they can score a late goal here, they would love to really just double up their tally and apply further pressure. It's coming across now is Christian Hedberg as he takes the first penalty of the hockey game.
So the storm we just alluded to there just gets a bit more intense. 2-minute penalty for Sweden, and there's 1:16 of this first period remaining.
And here he is right off the draw.
So Will Chill goes for one, and Nielsen pretty casually gets a left hand to it. Just tosses the puck up and down in his glove there. Pretty casual from him, as you'd expect.
Well, generally, any goaltender from that distance is going to make that save if they can see it. It's about getting traffic in front and, of course, putting it in a position where you can't contain it and control it with a glove hand and easily make sure that there's no loose rebounds available for the opposition to bang home.
So just awaiting who's going to be taking participating in the face-off. It will be Kasperi of Sweden and Yang Jong-ho as well. Korea work it nicely into some room, and it's a low drive in, and again Nielsen diverts it away.
It's a smart shot in low as they had the traffic in front, and almost that last second deflection was deceptive enough to beat Nielsen.
So will the yellow wall be broken one more time in this first period? It was almost a yes answer there, but it was a good diversion away from the number 6, Peter Nielsen.
And a good strong clearance there from Per Kasperi inside this last minute. They may have done enough here, Sweden, just to see if they can't take the lion's share of this penalty kill before the first intermission.
Yeah, still the Swedish door is being knocked on. Woo Chul picks up possession nicely. And now Young Sung Wan again. Lovely clip pass towards the far side. It was difficult to control though as the puck was spinning at a rate of knots in the air. And unchallenged there. I think Gangneung Ho made that look quite difficult into the ball. It was difficult to control the puck and sort of hook the blade round and get possession. But it needn't matter because the home fans are happy. You can hear that in the background. And you can see from some Swedish faces that they are not too pleased at that first period. Not a bad first 10 minutes from the Scandinavians, but Korea really found their rhythm after Young Sung Wan superbly served the puck up to Gangneung Ho to convert from close range. That gave the host the lead. At the end of the first period, Brent, Korea 1, Sweden 0.
Well, I think in fairness, Sweden shouldn't be too disheartened by that. I think they hung right with it. They created an opportunity really from nothing. Yes, they created it from an individual player with their speed and their exceptional ability. As we talk about Jung Si-won, but he gets it across there, and it was the nose for the net from Gangneung Ho that got rewarded, and that's why Republic of Korea are nudged ahead by just the one after 15. And welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. And as you can see, Republic of Korea, the hosts, enjoying the 1-0 lead over Sweden at the moment. And as though maybe Republic of Korea were anticipating that potential scoreline, really Sweden shouldn't be too disheartened by that, because it was just the one breakdown that allowed Republic of Korea to score. Otherwise, it could be a scoreless first period.
It'll be very interesting to see the statistics at the first intermission, because for me, it seemed pretty even before the Korean goal. But of course, confidence swung in favour of the Koreans after that goal from Yong Yong-yu. And also, Sweden looked pretty disheartened as well. But if they play in the second period like they played in the second period against Norway, then there is some source of hope for the Swedes.
Let's have a look at the highlights from the opening period here now as we review just the one goal, but of course, a lot of the good play going on by both teams. As you see, Sweden right in the thick of it, and this was the break. This is what happened here as Jung Ho just goes to the net, just gets a nose in front of Christian Hedberg, the Swedish defender, and he goes right into the post. Of course, the goal goes across the line, or the puck goes across the goal line first before the net is dislodged, and there really is nothing that Ulf Nielsen could do to try to make that save.
Absolutely not. It's a delicious square pass as well from that man, number 14, Young Sung Wan. It was just asking to be put into the back of the Swedish net, and Young Yo certainly wanted to apply that finish, and it was textbook from him as well. Found the corner of the net that was vacated by Nielsen. He dove down to his right, left a bit of a space to his left. And that's why Korea lead by a goal to 0.
And we have seen in a few instances earlier on this tournament where players have gone hard to the net. They've been penalized for going into the goaltender. In that instance there, as best he could, he slots the puck into the right-hand side of the net, is trying to avoid Ulf Nielsen in goal. Unfortunately, though, he ends up making contact, but there wasn't a penalty on that play. It's officially recorded as a goal, and play continued at 5-on-5.
Yeah, Young Sung Wan there also getting his 4th point of these championships, which is absolutely fantastic to say that his only World Championship experience previous to this was the B pool, which he won best forward for, and he certainly may be up for that accolade as well in the A pool this time around. He's got 2 assists, 2 goals, and he'll be looking to get one into the back of the net in this second and third period, that's for sure. But he's certainly been the orchestrator of anything good that the Koreans have done.
Let's have a look now at the match stats of the opening period and just see how these two teams compare against each other. A couple of shots for Sweden, 7 for Republic of Korea, and as so often is the case, they're great at converting. Although 7 is a pretty decent number for shots in a game. We've seen where Republic of Korea have had 7 shots and have scored 2 goals total, and they got 7 shots totally in the game.
And I think a large slice of that did come after their first goal, because they certainly peppered Ulf Nielsen's net after that strike. Face-offs one's interesting as well, because I touched on Sweden being hungry, but it shows how hungry the Republic of Korea are, because they've got even more in them to make sure they come out on top in those face-offs. And they're doing very well to get onto the second puck at the moment, and I think that's why he's putting him in such good stead for another 3 points here.
And interestingly here, just 6-1 totally the face-offs, and that just suggests that the game was allowed to flow. Wasn't a whole lot of stoppages, and maybe in a good cause for Sweden. They didn't ice the puck a whole lot in that opening 15 minutes, so they felt more confident that they could play with the Republic of Korea, and that bodes well for the rest of the hockey game. And of course, a better game out of Sweden and a better game hopefully out of Republic of Korea, where they can play to their strengths. But for the moment, we will pause and we will join you with more coverage from our first intermission from the Gangneung Hockey Center. These, of course, the World Para Ice Hockey Championships. And welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center. We are in the first intermission between the host nation, Republic of Korea, and Sweden. And one of the things that, of course, we are enjoying as guests here to Republic of Korea and this trial event that is effectively, of course, working as the World Championships as well. In just under a year's time will be the Paralympic Games being contested here. Obviously, prior to that will be the Olympic Games. But one of the interesting things for ourselves, Jonathan, is just seeing the state of readiness of the Republic of Korea, of Pyeongchang, in this city here, Gangneung, in for those Paralympic Games. And of course the venues, of course all the staff, and of course all of the fans getting excited. And we see the mascots in and around the city of Gangneung. It really is an excited area that can't wait to host the world's eyes in a year's time.
It is absolutely fantastic. You can see the energy there of the crowd. Even at the first intermission, they're definitely happy that the Republic of Korea are leading here by a goal to nil. And I think it's really done well as well for the team to be doing so well in the standings and potentially having a shot at the bronze medal. And yeah, absolutely fantastic so far. They've been wonderful hosts. You can feel the energy in the crowd as well. Everyone's got a smile on their face, and it's really done good things for not just this city, not just this province, but for the country as a whole as well.
Well, you're certainly right, and it's nothing but positive attention going on here in Pyeongchang. That's, of course, where the teams are staying, about 40-45 minutes away in the mountain region. We're down in the coastal region here in Gangneung, and of course, we had school children here earlier on today, of course, attending. It's a normal week, although it is Easter Monday in some parts of the world. It's back to school for all of the youngsters, as we saw on our way to the rink here today. But it really is refreshing to see the enthusiasm, and of course, still a year away before the official event taking place. But these World Championships in their own right stand as a very huge accolade for whoever's going to come away with gold. And at the moment, Republic of Korea is certainly looking like they're going to be in for a medal somewhere.
Definitely. This is also the final test event at this arena in the season. And so far, I have to say, I'm not the one that passes these tests, but it is, for me, passing with flying colours so far. And the Korean team are doing with it to boot as well. It's been absolutely fantastic from them and this venue and city so far. And long may it continue, starting off with the second period that's on the way.
So, yes, we are just waiting for that second period to return. And the players will be out with us in just a moment's time, as there you have another good look at the crowd and the anticipation as it's 1-0 Republic of Korea over Sweden. We'll be back very shortly with more coverage to start the second period. And the teams are back out onto the ice in readiness in just over a minute's time before action will resume. And interesting to see just how strong and continuing Sweden will be. We expect and hope they will be. A good period there from that man in goal, Lee Jae-wong, as he was a 92.31, so really an enviable position for Republic of Korea to have two goaltenders to choose from, really of equal standing in their performance so far in this tournament.
Yeah, and I think he's been unfortunately overshadowed not only by that man there, Ulf Nilsson, but also as well Simon Coots, the German goaltender as well. He's certainly up there as one of the best we've seen in the net. But yeah, Lee Jae-woong has been superb so far in these championships. It's really good for the South Koreans because they're good on the ice, but they're also got someone reliable in the net as well.
Well, one of the situations for these teams who are sitting in 6th and 7th, they receive a lot more shots. So, of course, there is the opportunity for their goaltenders to shine a little bit more as well, as maybe you expect that they're going to be receiving more traffic, and they do. And if they are successful, of course, it gets a lot of attention. But steady goes it from the Republic of Korea, from the goaltender out, as we get ready to start the second period.
So Per Kasteri is in the middle for Sweden. Who's going to be joined by? It's, of course, going to be the Korean captain, Gangneung, who got 100% of the face-offs in that first period. And he's got another one as well at the start of the second. So Korea leading by a goal to nil. They'll certainly be looking to add to that tally. They don't win by much when they do win, but it's about getting those points on the board at the end of the day.
Well, they might have had a chance there. Jung Jung-ho able to get it across. He, of course, is the goal scorer, and maybe he could have had a look from Jang Jung-ho as there was an option right in front from their number 28 and Lee Jong-kung. But they are looking to set things up. They've got the remainder of this power play here right now for Republic of Korea.
Of course, just 10 seconds of that power play left, but they'll look to make it count. They're just working it nicely, but too slowly, you'd probably say. There's not much time left for them to have this man advantage. And in fact, it is now over. So Sweden are back at full strength. Coming back onto the ice is number 15, Christian Hedberg. And we're back to 5v5.
So good sustained pressure from Republic of Korea. Maybe just a little bit slow, as you say, advancing that puck. The challenge it is that they didn't put whoever received the puck into an advantageous position in which to do something with it. It arrived at their stick, but immediately they were closed down. Time and space wasn't any more available to it than the passer had, and the reason why they gave it to them. So they'll need to advance it quicker, and they're capable of that. And they're an interesting commodity, Korea, just to see what their strengths are and sometimes the areas of the game that they're still working on trying to improve.
So Park Woo-chul will battle for that one against Rasmus Lundgren. It is Lundgren that gets there first. A staggering 9 minutes 30 from him in that first period. Higher, well higher than any other player. It just shows how Sweden are so dependable on their experienced players, because they do have a lot of youth within their ranks. And of course, they want to not only give them the experience, but also slowly nurture them into it and not throw them in the deep end straight away.
Well, particularly against a team like Republic of Korea, as you heard the comments before the game, they weren't particularly optimistic about their prospects in this game, and a little bit surprising whether or not that's just Sweden, a little bit kind of sore after the first 4 days of competition and not been able to get much return from their efforts so far. But right now, they're certainly hanging tough, although there's a little bit of a loose break now for Korea.
Good pace from Lee Jung-sung getting onto the end of that one. He's in loads of room as well. He pulls it back. He probably had a bit more room than he thought. In the end, it goes to safety for now for Sweden. Number 7, Choi Kwang-yuk, was in the middle, trying to get on the end of that one. And it's a save again from Nielsen. This time it's Yang Dong-shin with the strike. You can hear the cheers and cries from the crowd there. As on 2 occasions, Korea almost got a second point on the board.
Well, it was a delayed penalty coming against, so of course Korea used that to their advantage, and out came their goaltender, Lee Jae-woong, as well, in favor of an extra out skater. But they used it pretty well to their advantage, having the opportunity to move the puck around. And now on a power play, as we just commented it before, they didn't maybe move the puck as quick as they would need to really gain advantage. Will they just improve that puck speed and that puck movement amongst themselves to try and get a second goal on the board?
Bit like Groundhog Day, because back into the penalty box is number 15, Christian Hedberg, just where he was situated at the start of this period, so he was only out of it for the 3 minutes. And let's see this time around how Sweden can deal without him. They did well in the first power play, but of course they'll have to make sure that they hold firm once again. Low strike, and Nielsen struggled to deal with that one. He's been so good at planting a glove on it, and that time he struggled. The puck was bouncing around all over the place, and just about Sweden get it away.
Well, the goals that Republic of Korea have scored have been on the rush. They haven't been scrambly goals on the rebounds where they've been banging them away. They've been set plays that they've been able to find a little bit of room, and they've gone on the net hard.
Kim Young-sung on an angle, and he hits the bar. A real arrow from him off that left blade, and it shot off Nielsen's crossbar and was fired away. And I think That crossbar may still be shaking a wee bit because that was a real strong strike. Still, it's not away. This is a relentless, really, really good play this from the Republic of Koreans. It's a siege on the Swedish goal.
And a surprising shot there. It just kind of took off in a fury towards the goal. I don't think anybody anticipated that equally. I'm not sure did Alf Nielsen, but it was just an inch away from going in goal, and of course an inch away as well of missing goal, as that's often the cliche with hitting the post.
Kim Young-sung being pursued there by Marcus Holm. But he does really well to fire it back, and it's one of those things, isn't it, Brent? Just fire it into an area and see where it comes off and what damage can be caused.
Well, sometimes you're right, and you can't legislate for how that puck is going to strike an opposition sled or even your own teammates, or maybe a stick that tries to go in the way to do the right thing at the last second, but ends up being a favorable bounce for you. So, you know, you play it into those good areas, those high traffic areas, and you never know what's going to come from it. And more often than not, you can get better advantage from that.
Sweden back to full strength, but they may be punished anyway because here comes that man. Oh, it's a great run by Young Sung Wan, but it's well foiled by Nielsen. Fantastic, fantastic sledging that on that ice, and the way he managed to get through. There's still a chance on here. Korea are really turning it on at the start of this second period, and this is not what Sweden wanted at all.
Well, they're bending right now, but they haven't broken yet off the post. They got lucky, but they find a way. And it's that danger man, as you might expect. He's got it done again. Jung Si-won.
Point number 5 of the tournament for Young Sung Wan. It's number 2 of the evening for Korea. The fans on the far side absolutely loving it, and you have to say this time around, it has been coming. Nothing Nielsen could do. He was certainly thanking the crossbar a few moments ago, the post then as well, but the rebound was put away by the Korean assistant captain. And this man, you just cannot stress his importance enough. He goes onto the bench there. Absolutely fantastic from him. Young Sung Wan at the goal-scoring helm again.
Well, he can score the forehand, the backhand, any which way you want him to score. This time he gets in that tight area. We haven't seen a lot of that from Republic of Korea. They've been able to score on the break, and this time they score a little bit on a scramble and they get the loose opportunity, and he just makes Sweden pay, and it was coming. We all could see it over the last 5 minutes.
And the fact that Sweden weren't on the wrong end of a power play there. They did have full strength, but the fact that they really put it on themselves at the start of the period and put them under that pressure of conceding a penalty, that set the tone for that move and the consequential goal.
Well, back-to-back penalties like that is going to create momentum shift, and you go into a period break, and of course the Republic of Korea are encouraged as they already are in the lead, and then you give them 2 successive power plays back-to-back. So it's a 2-0 lead now, well earned by Korea over Sweden as we pause in the second period.
So, welcome back to the Gangneung Hockey Centre, and I have to say I've been loving the tunes they've been putting on for the past 7 days or so, and they certainly do not disappoint at all. Get you fired up for the next bit of play, and Sweden there was certainly fired up because they won that face-off, a rare one for them. Now Kasperi looks to advance forward for the Swedes. Again, encircled by the Koreans, but he does really well, Kasperi, to try and get himself out of this dark alleyway, and he gets to the goal line as well. He's got a bit of an angle to pull it back, almost caused carnage in the Korean goal mouth, but cleared away just.
And sometimes you think when they're on the goal line like that, coming towards the net, that maybe they've run out of an angle, as there is going to be a penalty this time against Republic of Korea, that maybe they've actually taken away the angle there. But actually for Per Kasperi, he waited long enough, and that pass went underneath Lee Jang-woong right to a Swedish stick in front, and they just weren't ready for it, or otherwise that could have been a bang-bang play into the backside of the goal.
So penalty then for Korea. Number 20, Yang Dong-shin is the man to fall on the wrong end of that one. So Sweden could have a bit of territorial pressure here, something they've not enjoyed too much of in the last few minutes.
Well, with the play in behind the goal there, and Sweden were just getting a little bit of offensive zone time, just forcing Korea into having to make good defensive plays. But now you see what happens. They've got speed up front.
Great clearance, and it might work out well for them as well as they change defense into attack. Young Sung-wan is a fantastic outlet. He looks to pursue the possession he lost there. Didn't manage, but it's a wonderful interception coming in from Lee Jong-young. Chance on the counter, well closed down by Sweden, who through Per Kasperi can get forward again into the offensive zone. There's a clash off camera there between two Swedish players who just collided sledges. That's the second time we've seen that in this game. One from both sides. It just slows down progression. It's about looking out for your teammates.
It is, and it's just about being patient, making the right play, and they do make a good play. And they just get it down the ice, although it looked as though for a moment offensively, Korea were going to try and create something from this penalty kill. They certainly, with the right combination out there, are capable of doing that. But you'd like to see Sweden just get something from this power play. At least a good shot, get some offensive momentum, and there's a good one in on Lee Jae-woong. And it comes in off of their veteran, Ingvarsson, who's playing more in the back end in a defensive position in this hockey game. We've seen him up front, but I think they're realizing that maybe he might be best just to bolster the defense in front of Ulf Nielsen today.
Yeah, Ingvarsson's had a good championship so far, 2 assists to his name. He was looking to get his first goal of the tournament there, and we've pointed him out before the game as one of the key Swedish men. He's certainly trying to take by the horns in this second period. Under 8 minutes of it left. Bit of a scramble for possession there, as Korea have 50 minutes left of the penalty. What can Sweden do with it? Rakos looks to pull it back, and it almost again in that dangerous area as far as Korea are concerned. And that's a couple of times. Those half chances have fallen in the way of Sweden, but they've just not taken them.
And interestingly as well, as the puck was cleared, actually there would have been a chance for Korea to go and maybe take a short-handed break, but it was Lee Jung-sung who had actually lost one of his sticks and was frustrated coming towards his own bench, and he had his back to the play, and he might have been able to take that for a breakaway. He's back out here again, and he'll replace on the ice Jung Si-won. But of course, as you say, Sweden in a good position, but just sort of half laying there, and you wonder, just laying in that crease area, just whether or not the referee might have just counted that one equally. You can't really camp out in that position unless the puck is there.
Yeah, just saw a replay of that half chance there. Number 12 for Korea, Kim Young-sung, just really putting his neck on the line, sticking out that right blade and making sure the puck didn't land at the skates of Goran Carlson, because I'm sure we would have put that in with the stick. And that would have halved the arrears here. But Korea hold on, and they're showing how they're just as good defensively as they are offensively as well. They certainly go hand in hand nicely, complement each other very well.
Well, they're doing their best, are Sweden, and they have that power play and get a shot from it, but they need to build some more offensively. They need to get a few more chances and need to create their own luck too, don't they? They need to come up as 5-man blocks, and you can't just have just occasional intermittent attempts by an individual player. You need a 5-player unit that's capable of pushing forward and providing that good puck support when they need it.
It's a nice dink into the corner, goes out for icing, however, and it'll be pulled back into Swedish territory. You see this smash into the board here. It's a really nice hit initially coming in from number 21, but then number 10, Cho Young-jae, goes a bit further and says, look, mate, this is how you do it. And he certainly didn't hold back there at all.
So Sweden getting involved here now, and they need to just limit this icing game where they end up playing the puck down the length of the ice, of course, to give themselves a breather, but they need to make those good positive plays out of their own zone and not just slot it down the ice like ping pong or table tennis, and in hopes that, you know, they just got rid of a problem. They're going to have to figure out and create their own solutions.
Absolutely. Good defensive work this from Korea as they look to get away from their own goal line, and it's slammed nicely towards the near side as well. And that will be an icing call from the linesman.
And that's a curious one there from Woo Chul. He just makes that play, and Park Woo Chul just fires it, and they need to know that there's 5-on-5 on the ice and that they need to make a play coming out of their own zone, because of course playing down the length of the ice like that for icing isn't going to give you any respite, because if you're going to have to defend the subsequent face-off in your own zone.
Unlike when Korea got the goal in the first period, that helped them build momentum for the duration of those 15 minutes. In this one, it's certainly been a bit different. Since the second goal, the game seemed to have lost its rhythm a wee bit. Players are struggling to get a period of passing together. As again, the possession, it's like a bit of a hot potato out there. Neither side being able to get a firm grip of the puck. Will that change now, though? Looking to battle for possession is Nade Sok, but it's well dealt with by Sweden, who are certainly getting stuck in, but as are the Koreans as well, and it's making for a very competitive game as the two sides look to slog it out. Probably not as feisty as the USA-Canada game we saw earlier, Brent, but still, this has got a bit of needle in it.
Well, it does, and of course, neither of these teams necessarily play with that same robust approach that the North Americans do, but they're very capable, of course, competing, and we saw how well Republic of Korea competed against Canada. You're talking about a side here, Sweden, that was defeated 17-0 by Canada, and Republic of Korea defeated 2-0 by Canada within 2 shots of each other. So the scorelines don't always give a full reflection. What finish there, though, from Korea.
Kim-Young-sung with an absolutely fantastic bullet straight into the top corner. Ulf Nilsson did not see that coming at all. And, well, the cameraman will have done really well to have captured this one, because it was hit like a flash into the top corner. Look at that.
It's an absolute laser off of the left-hand strike of Kim Young-sung. And you talk about what you would want to show any young player of how to shoot the puck and where you want to put it with your follow-through. That was an absolute demonstration video of world-class shooting from that man right there as he gets his first goal of the tournament. And you talk about one to remember and to tell your friends later.
Absolutely. Playing in his 3rd Para World Championship, and I don't think he'll have had many better moments than that. Still Korea are hungry for more, and it's almost spilled by Nilsson. He manages to get it at the second bite of the cherry. And once again, Sweden just need to calm things down. They've got a perfect chance to catch their breath here, because we will go for a very slight break here at Gangneung Hockey Centre, with Korea leading by 3-0. So welcome back to the Gangneung Hockey Centre here in the Republic of Korea, and it's the hosts who are really putting on a bit of a show at the moment, just like the techno DJ on the far side as well for the crowd. Korea leading by 3-0, and a real scramble for possession there. I think Nicholas Ingvarsson's been watching a bit of UFC with the way he got his opponent there in the headlock, and again Nilsson manages to just land on his prey, the puck there, and keep it in his glove. But Korea really on top.
They are. And I'm not sure I would say that Techno DJ is on top, but he certainly is. He is the volume inside the venue right here, as of course it's right into Ulf Nielsen again, who makes a save, and Republic of Korea on the back of what was a ferocious goal from the number 12 Kim Young-sung, who got that third one. Now all of a sudden they look like a team that's just wanting to build on that lead and looking more confident in doing so each possession that they have.
Now Korea look for another one, and again Nielsen gets it, but we questioned before the game whether Korea will be able to take the game to Sweden. They did struggle to come out of the traps in the first period, but now after a few goals they're really showing what they're about.
Well, this is a mental test now. Of course, when you get physically tired, you start to get mentally weak, and you start to maybe make some decisions that otherwise, when you're fresher and you have more physical energy, you might not. And this is a time where really, if you want to be at a world-class level in a Pool A competition, Sweden need to stop the bleeding right here. Not allow any more goals. Need to get out of this period without conceding any more goals, and that's now just under 4 minutes. And that would just give them an opportunity to say, you know what, let's come back for this third period. Let's get a goal, and let's just see where things go. But for 4 minutes to try and keep this Republic of Korea team in check, you can't keep having defensive zone face-offs, and you're going to have to be very smart with the puck that you do get to manage it well and to be effective.
Yeah, the Koreans certainly peppering the Swedish goal at the moment, but they are standing firm. And it'll be interesting to see the number of shots after this game that Ulf Nielsen has received. Before the game, it was 117, which is quite staggering from just a week's worth of play. In the second week, he'll certainly be hoping with USA and Canada out the way, that will be a lot less.
It's scrappy right now, and again, Sweden are just doing enough, just wanting to clear away from in front of their own goal, and that bodes well. Of course, that's what you firstly want to do, but you really want to see them make a breakout pass, that first pass out of their own zone, to be able to advance and maybe come to that neutral zone with a little bit more of a game plan.
And there's that moose again. They certainly didn't throw it away, as I suggested they may do after the Norway v Sweden game, when Norway won by 5-1. They've persevered with him, and he's here today as well.
Well, loyalty is a great quality, isn't it, Jonathan? And you might appreciate that well as time goes on. But yes, Sweden staying the course, and they've just got lucky with one that goes off the goalpost.
Well, Nielsen there, I don't know whether that came off his helmet or the frame of the goal. It was very difficult to tell. We'll certainly see it in the replay in a few moments' time. But again, Korea are certainly showing us what. And look at that fantastic 360, possibly even more, maybe even a 720. I'm not sure how much of that was meant, but it just shows that they're really relaxed at the moment, Koreans, and they're definitely wanting more.
I think that was the 360 hide and seek, and I'm not sure who was hiding and who was seeking. It was just equally as confusing.
It was absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure he meant it. I really am. It was, well, he'll want us to think he meant it, but he was brilliant from Han Min-soo there on the turn, the number 68. He'll look to pick up possession now, but I'm sure he won't be unleashing that party trick again anytime soon.
And the length of the ice, this is Sweden right here. These are the things they need to limit, just these clearances to nowhere in particular, except all the way down the ice in the goal line, as you see it rattle off the crossbar. And Nielsen, who gets the big catcher's mitt up there, doesn't get a chance to catch that one. He was breached, but of course the goaltender's best friend, the crossbar, saves him, and it keeps the score line at 3.
Yeah, the posts have been hit numerous times by Korea in this game. And they'll be wanting to hit the back of the net rather than those posts as the remaining minutes of this period go on. Just 2 minutes left, and a call by the referee.
And I think it's going to come up against Ingvarsson. We'll just see. No, maybe it is against Republic of Korea. My apologies. As now coming off the ice, it is going to be Cho Kwon-yuk, and he got a little bit extra shove, and so that gives an opportunity for Sweden not only to score, but of course, hopefully they're able to retain the possession in the offensive zone, and they limit the opportunity for the Koreans to increase the margin.
Just saw that Cho Kwon-yuk, you can see on your picture, in the penalty box, just put his head back against the wall. I don't know if that's because he's disappointed at getting the penalty, or he's just absolutely shattered after all the Korean pressing that they've been doing in the last few minutes. Certainly there's been hard work for them as they've got 3 and almost conceded 1 there. Fantastic strike coming in from the Swedes.
And that's who you would have wanted. Here's a break, though, against Nielsen. Nielsen will bat it away. cool as a cucumber is Nielsen back there, making sure the play continues. But that was a chance there from Ingvarsson, who's a preferred left-handed shooter, got that puck on the right hand and tried to get a release in on goal. He got a good one, but that was as good a chance that Sweden has had in this game to score just a moment ago.
Per Kasperi now has it behind the goal line, manages to pull it back, and Sweden certainly making the man advantage count here as they look to push up the other end. It deflects off Lee Jae-woong, but is diverted away, and Sweden will look to get on the loose puck. However, they fail to do so. You do begin to feel maybe heads will beginning to turn a wee bit to tomorrow's game against Germany. It's an absolutely massive one, because whoever finishes 7th in the preliminary round here at these Para Ice Hockey World Championships will not have a chance of automatic qualification here for next year's Winter Games. Real good chance though to get one back, and again it's well saved. There's a big cluster in the goal area, but Lee Jae-woong comes up trumps once again. He's not been the busiest goaltender in this game, but he's certainly shone when he's had to.
That was Per Kasperi, and he's exactly the player you want in that position for Sweden. We just saw Ingvarsson a moment ago, maybe not in his best position to receive it, but Per Kasperi goes around the end, comes across east-west through that slot area. He goes low, and how that save was made, I will not know. And it's all I know is it's a massive one, made in goal by the Korean Lee Jae-woong, as he denies the most likely goal scorer for Sweden at point-blank range.
They certainly have every area of the ice covered, do the Koreans. They all pull in together, and even when one may make a mistake, another one there is there to save them. And that time around, it was Lee Jae-woong, the goaltender, wearing number 2 for the host nation. So we get ready for this face-off. And eventually someone from the Swedes will come and compete with it. It will be Nicholas Ingvarsson to do so. Facing Lee Gangneung. Here we have it, Sweden come out on top. They've got 40 seconds left in the power play, and they almost got one there. Frustrating miss for them.
Oh, it's another great chance, and maybe a surprise play. Didn't get a chance necessarily to try to shoot it, but just redirect it, and just wasn't able to be accurate enough.
Fantastic first touch there off the stick by Jung Kyung-wan. Just killed the puck dead, and then managed to try and get it out of the defensive zone. Sweden fight back. It's a nice slid pass towards the far side, switching play. Kasperi was thrown on his back there. That didn't look too nice at all, but he'll still hassle and harry and try and pick up possession. It's 2 Swedes on 1 Korean man, and that 1 Korean man was Lee Jong-young, who did brilliantly and managed to help get it away.
Well, inside the precious seconds remaining in this second period, and Sweden have done enough that looks to get out of this period with just conceding an additional goal. And they had just the one, of course, at the end of the first period, and they concede 2 in that second period. And it was Jung Si-won who makes that great first goal, just finds that rebound and goes up with the one hand on the backhand, and then that fantastic finish there, the left-handed strike. Kim Young-sung, who goes cross-body and off Nielsen and makes it look like he's been doing that all his life, as it is Korea with the 3-0 lead over Sweden as we go to the second intermission. Welcome back inside the Gangneung Hockey Center, and we are in the second intermission break where Republic of Korea, the hosts, have been able to establish themselves a 3-0 lead. They got off to a good start, although it was to and fro really in that first 15 minutes, Jonathan. They get a 1-0 lead, and then they're able to build on that in the second period.
Yeah, if we said it was slim margins at the end of the first period, it certainly wasn't in the second, because Sweden started that second period with a penalty. They then got another penalty quickly after as well, and that really put Korea in the driving seat. They were able to dictate play and do what they liked, and they got another couple of goals afterwards, and they thoroughly deserved it.
So let's have a look at the highlights so far in this game. We'll look back over those 2 goals in the second period of action, as they were both scored, as you can tell, of course, by Korea, and this one in a tight spot. We were saying there wasn't a lot of goals from a rebound position, that most of the goals that Korea have been able to score have been on the break. They've had a great nose for net. Nobody has a better nose for net than this player for the Republic of Korea.
Absolutely, and you're spot on, Brent, because a lot of the Korean goals are very clean, team-worked goals, but that one they got a bit fortunate, but Young Sung-wan certainly had to be tenacious there in order to stick it in the back of the net. Denied a couple of times, once by Nilsson, once by the post, but then third time around he said, I'm definitely having this one.
And he just stays the course, and of course, well, when Sweden take the penalties that they did take in that period, they're just inviting trouble, and this finish here was something special. I don't think anybody anticipated that. We see so many shots that are elevated that go wide or go high of the goal. When we see one so perfectly and precisely located as that one there, you just can't help but marvel.
Superb trajectory on that strike by Kim Young-sung with the left blade, and I don't think any goaltender in the world could save that one, and the fact that Nilsson couldn't get near it just told you everything you needed to know.
It was a fantastic finish, and of course, we are in the third game of the 3 today in game day 5, and the tournament now, of course, is going to go through to game day 8, when we will finally determine who is going to finish as the gold medal champion, the world champions, silver, bronze, all the way through to 6th place finishing. But earlier on today, we look back, it was the Italians and the Germans, rather, in their matchup. It was Italy with a very impressive win over them, and Italy you expect to be finishing as one of the top 5 teams in this tournament.
I think if we look at Korea, they'll certainly be viewing Italy as their main rival in this one, because the Italians have been very impressive so far. I think them alongside Korea have been my 2 surprise packages of the tournament, and they certainly look very comfortable against Germany today. And Germany are desperate for points. They certainly were going for it, but Italy just had too much for them in the end.
A very strong team as we look back over the tables. And Canada, although they're tied with 12 points, Canada fell today in that second game 2-1 to the mighty United States, who are the reigning world champions. And although they're level on points, there is the one less game played by the United States at this moment in time. They both, the United States still has to play against the Republic of Korea. That'll be in game day number 7. So things are getting interesting at the top, but it's really down there in 6th and 7th position with Sweden in this game here, without the possibility of getting something that looks more and more like the top 5, will be automatically qualifying through. And Germany and Sweden right now really hard pressed to get themselves into that top 5 position.
Yeah, I think Germany and Sweden know that they probably won't get 5th in this preliminary round, but they just want to make sure they get into 6th and they have a shot at playing the 5th place team. And then, of course, that gives them a possible open door to next year's Winter Paralympic Games. It's all to play for, and that is why tomorrow's game between Sweden and Germany is absolutely massive. You certainly don't want to miss it.
There's all sorts of action still to come with the 3 remaining days, and of course the third period still yet to come here. We'll join you for more coverage in the second intermission in just a moment's time. Welcome back to our second intermission coverage of the match that's going on right now. Republic of Korea, the host, taking on Sweden. And let's have a look at the match stats so far. Republic of Korea overwhelming with those shots on goal, 21-4.
Yeah, you cannot argue with that scoreline at all when you look at a statistic like the shots on goal. Republic of Korea have been absolutely dominant in that second period, definitely aided by the Sweden penalty, but make no bones about it, they have been absolutely clinical offensively as well. They've certainly peppered Nilsson's goal many a time. They've got him to thank, and the crossbar as well, let's add, to ensure that it's no more than the 3.
And there are the goal scorers so far. In the opening period, it was Jang Ho, the captain, who went to the net, and he got that perfect assist from Jung Si-won, who ends up getting himself the second goal. And you never go a game without seeing him on the score sheet. He is the leading scorer for Republic of Korea. And then that final goal there from Gangneung. My goodness, it was something to behold from our position up here, and of course for everybody in the arena to just watch how well taken that shot was, as it was just perfect pinpoint placement. You put it in a teacup in that top right corner, as Ulf Nielsen was breached quite comfortably with that goal.
Absolutely, you saw there as well 2 assistant captains and 1 captain getting on the score sheet as well. It showed that those who have the highest responsibility certainly led by example for Korea, and they need those sort of experienced characters in this competition after, of course, being in the B pool in the last World Championships, to be in the A pool this time around and count on those sort of pros is absolutely fantastic for their team, and the fans behind us as well that are absolutely loving the atmosphere here in the second intermission.
We hope you're enjoying the action as well. Stay tuned with us as it's the final 15 minutes still yet to come. Republic of Korea and Sweden just a few moments away. So as the teams await their return to the ice, the referees in position, they're just tidying up as the ice resurfacing machine has just left the surface of the Gangneung Hockey Center Olympic size and of course Paralympic size ice sheet, 60 meters by 30 meters across. And it's been a solid performance from Republic of Korea. Of course, what we expect, but equally Sweden have hung in tough and have done what's been asked of them as we look at their journeys so far in this tournament.
It shows with the Republic of Korea how this is kind of an anomaly in the tournament so far, because they're used to very, very tight games, even against the best like Canada. But today they've been able to sort of have the shackles off in a way and do what they like and fire shots in at goal and yield some very good points from it as well. Sweden, another tough day at the office for them, but of course, that game there against Germany absolutely crucial for them tomorrow, because that is their lifeline of getting a safe passage into next year's Winter Paralympic Games.
So good results, as you see, 2-1 victories over both Germany and Norway, and then a 2-0 defeat. Everything has been tight so far. You don't expect this to sort of blow out either, as Ulf Nilsson will do his best to keep things within check for Sweden in goal. And you often see the goaltenders wanting to have that helmet off, even though they come out of the intermission. They've had that off, I'm sure, for the last 15 minutes. A chance to cool down, a calm before the storm, as of course there has been the majority of the traffic on goal in Ulf Nilsson's net. And this man in the opposing goal, well, he has done his job when called upon, but we are seeing a goaltending change as Yu Ming-yun is now given opportunity to compete for the remaining 15 minutes in this hockey game for Republic of Korea.
Interesting change that. Certainly Lee Jae-woong has done a fantastic job as goaltender for the previous 2/3 of this game. But now they're calling on Yu Mang-yun, who is certainly just as capable as well, on seeing out the final period here in Gangneung. So the referee just making sure everyone is present and correct for this face-off to start the final period in the final game of action on what has been a fantastic day of para ice hockey here in the Republic of Korea. And the icing on the cake so far has been the host nation, who have put on quite a performance offensively and defensively as well against Sweden.
Well, they've scored a variety of goals, as here they have another chance from their danger man.
And there it was, Jung Sung-wan again. The amount of times we've said his name in these championships is quite unreal, but it's because he's had so much of the puck and so much action in that final third of the ice. And once again, hitting a stinging effort towards Nilsson's goal. But Ulf Nilsson was able to keep that one out, and we will restart play with a puck drop.
But just to finish that point there, we haven't seen the variety of goals taken by Korea as we have today in this one, as far as on a break, and then of course the rebound goal that we saw Jung Si-won finish, and on the backhand. We've seen him take it on the backhand, but it was a wraparound play in an earlier game. And you know, they've been just impressive today with better balance. They're an interesting side, though. They just sort of attack efficiently when they get given the opportunities, and they generally make the most of when they do come.
Face-off won by Korea. Woo Chil's got a bit of an opportunity here as he gets towards the hash mark. Picked up by his teammate Yang Dong-shin. He's forced backwards, and they'll try and work things in a shallow position in the offensive zone. Misplaced pass off the board there, and Sweden can get up the ice a wee bit and push Korea back. And the icing call there.
And that's a result of Sweden just pushing up a little bit, moving out of their defensive zone, and sometimes that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to push forward, because you get in a mindset of just being on your heels, being in a defensive zone where you're always under siege. And so pushing forward, putting a little bit of pressure on Korea, forces Korea to take an icing, and it allows Sweden now to have an offensive zone face-off and maybe a chance to have some sustained pressure, maybe even a shot on goal off of this set piece.
So a complete fresh team put out there by Sweden in that little break. 5 new outfield players and some fresh blades out there to try and get Sweden back into the argument. Good chance this for Jung Sung-wan, just as he would want it, and he slams it in. He makes no mistake. Could you ever doubt him? He scores for the 3rd time in these championships, for the 2nd time today, and Korea lead by 4-0.
Well, he's a make-or-break maker, isn't he? As you give him a chance, he can also be a chance taker. As you give him an opportunity, which he creates for himself, and then he is now maybe a backbreaker for Sweden in this one, as whether they're going to come back from a 4-0 scoreline, you would doubt it at this stage. Simply a play that's broken up and created with speed by that man right there is finished with perfect precision.
The way he used the sticks is absolutely phenomenal. You can see the way he propels himself with the left stick, and with the right one, clinical with the blade. And he just slammed it past Nilsson, who really didn't have much of a prayer against such a hot shot in the Korean ranks. It's almost broken again for Korea, but Sweden can get it away. And what do you do now if you're Sweden? Do you push for a goal and try and get on the score sheet, or you just try and keep it as it is?
Well, I tell you what you don't do. You just don't slam it down the ice and create another icing against as we look back at this goal here. And there's Nielsen, who goes up anticipating that high elevated shot, and we have seen mid-level shots be more deceptive for the goaltenders who've been glove reliant in today's hockey than we have seen at any other point in the tournament. If you go high looking for what is a sensational goal, more often than not, the goaltender is anticipating that. But if they get their hand coming up and then they've got to drop it down again, like at that mid-level height right there, it's very difficult for them to react and to respond. Once they commit up, very difficult to come back down again, and that's what the deception of that mid-level shot is doing to the goaltenders in today's game, is they've made some adjustments, the shooters. But Sweden are going to have to just make positive play out of their own zone. Let's make no mistake of it. They can't keep icing the puck. They keep icing the puck, the score is going to increase.
It was a fantastic strike from Jung Sung-Wan, who seemed to stun the puck. He hit it that hard, which is why it didn't elevate too much. And Ulf Nielsen may have not conceded many better strikes than that. Sweden just struggling to get it out of the defensive zone at the moment. Korea are absolutely everywhere on the ice. And even then, despite there being a break, they will have possession. Nice clearance away, under pressure from Yu Mang-yun behind him.
It's an interesting decision to put Yu Mang-yun in, and not because he's not worthy of the ice time. It's just that it was the work and it was the clean sheet currently being provided by Lee Jae-woong, and it just shows that Republic of Korea aren't particularly decided on who's their number one or who's the number two. They really want to have balance of both of those goalkeepers being ready to play at any moment in time in this competition.
Sweden penalty, and trudging off the ice there, number 3, Nicholas Ingvarsson. Doesn't look too happy at all about the call. It does mean that Sweden will play the next 2 minutes with 4 outfield players. And against this Korean side, it's going to be very difficult indeed. So, as you'd expect with the man advantage, the Republic of Korea very quick to get on the second puck. It's into the danger area, and I don't think either defender or attacker knew where it had gone, and Nielsen has let in a goal he'll be awfully disappointed about. He seemed to have it covered, but he was put in the end by Cho Young-jae. Pretty tame effort. It crept into the corner, and that just compounds Sweden's misery. It was a deflection off his blade, and Nielsen just didn't read it, couldn't get to it, and in it goes. In fact, it's Lee Ju-sung that has got it, the number 21. His first goal of the tournament, and I don't think he'll get a more fortuitous one.
Well, it's just a mental lapse, isn't it, from Ulf Nielsen, and that's what happens after a long period of taking so many shots. That last one, I think, in fairness, from Jung Si-won, maybe breaks Ulf Nielsen, and sometimes the players have been able to play to his strength, which is his glove hand up high, and, you know, they haven't gone up high. And so Ulf Nielsen hasn't been able to enjoy the Ulf Nielsen show, which we have been seeing as really a highlight reel and testimony to his ability throughout the course of the first few games. Now all of a sudden there's a whole different range of shots coming in on him, and he hasn't been able to enjoy the same success.
Bit of a scrum going off there in the center of the ice, but Sweden eventually come out on top. I think it's a real tussle going off at the minute. I'm surprised the referee hasn't got involved here, but nothing illegal has occurred. Someone's lost a glove, I think, as well, right in the center of the ice. So that'll have to be picked up for safety reasons, of course. But a real strange tangle there of athletes. And Sweden just looked to ping it forwards and just about dealt with by Yu Mang-yun. It was under his body, but I don't think he was too sure where the puck was, and that was a testing one for him.
And the Swedish players all coming and just surging in, trying to get to that loose puck and see if they couldn't make something of it. So good to see that their hunger is still there to try and score a goal, although they're feeling a little bit sort of porous defensively as far as how they've been able to, of course, keep the goals from going in. At least they're still trying to assert themselves. As you look at the body language over there on that Sweden bench right now, this is a great shot of Republic of Korea. Things are feeling good, and life is good. Good times on that bench. But for Sweden right now, you need to really see it's a real test to make sure you keep your focus and you play this game with the right approach to be able to finish it strong against a side here, Republic of Korea, that want to continue to keep scoring goals against you.
Yeah, the Korean crowd keep coming and they keep being satisfied. I don't think there's been one reason yet why, if you've come to a Republic of Korea game, you wouldn't want to come again. And here's a chance for the hat-trick for Young Sung-wan, coming in on goal, and this time Nielsen foils him.
And you'll feel better about that, Nielsen. Maybe a little bit of a more spirited approach from him to finish this game. Point blank on a breakaway. I don't think there's been a better chance for Young Si-won to be able to score in this tournament as he just enjoyed there, and Ulf Nielsen just closed him down like a book.
Yeah, he tried to give him the eyes, I think, Young Sung-wan, but this time Nielsen wasn't having any of it and managed to dive down to his right and get it. Meanwhile, there is a power play in Sweden's advantage. Lee Jong-yunk is the guilty party there of that penalty. As off he comes, and we'll go for a little while as well with the scores. Republic of Korea 5, Sweden 0. So a change then in the Swedish goal. Off comes Ulf Nilsson and on comes Andreas Neumann. After Nilsson made that fantastic save from Young Sung-wan, it's probably a good way to go out. It must not have been the greatest game for Sweden, but they'll look to get one back here and restore some pride. Kasperi just over the crossbar. It was always rising. Just a little glimmer there for Sweden to make some inroads.
Some great power on that shot, and it was as good a chance as they would want to have. Of course, though, it just is an elevated shot and had every chance of being able to be the first goal of the game for Sweden.
Some great stick handling we just saw there as well from Nicholas Invargsson before he switched play towards this near side. He'll have to pick up the puck again.
So a goaltending change for Sweden. Andreas Neumann has come in favor of Ulf Nilsson, so he gives him a little bit of break to see out the remaining just under 10 minutes of this hockey game.
And of course, it's good experience for him as well. He'll have seen his colleague Ulf Nilsson really impressing in the last 7 days. And he'll look to try and pick up some of those lessons as well from the very experienced Swedish stopper. Now Kasperi. Angle's not favouring him, so he pulls it back for Invargsson. A fantastic cruncher coming in there from Young Sung-wan. And now Korea can attack again. They may be a man light, but they are certainly able to get forward in numbers with that pace. Young Sung-wan, will he go for goal? The answer is yes. Will he get a hat-trick? The answer is yes. Korea hits Sweden for 6, and it is that man again. You cannot stop him.
Well, his speed on the break is some of the best that we will see in para ice hockey. You saw Per Kasperi trying to get back into play, and he was committed, and he was being durable, but he wasn't as quick as this man here, and he just waits and waits for Neumann to commit, and he just slots it between Neumann's head and his glove hand over the shoulder where Neumann is indefensible, and Young Si-won is proving himself to be really in that elite conversation of point getters and goal scorers in this entire tournament.
Well, it would be a tragedy if Young Sung-wan did not get man of the match at the end of this game. But he was good play as well from number 10, Cho Young-jae, just sort of obscuring the vision for a second or two of Andreas Neumann as Young Sung-wan pulled the trigger. And Korea are 6-0 up
And remember, that's a short-handed goal as well. So well taken, and I was talking about Perkas Berry trying to get back into play, but Sweden were tired, and they just could not work with the pace of what Korea were on offer. And there was effectively a 3-on-1 there, and Young Si-won just decided to take the puck himself. It looked like he was running out of angle. He just took that puck to the net, and Newman ended up committing first, and he finished second.
And here we look at it again. Just look at Young Jae there, just getting in front of Newman. And then he sort of set off balance, and Young Sung-wan capitalised on that and slammed it top shelf into the roof of the net. So a very apt instrumental going round there, if you're happy and you know it. And of course, the Korean fans getting involved with it enthusiastically as ever. Here he is again, that man number 10, Cho Young Jae, doing superbly well to find Choi Kwang-yuk. Good battling going on though with Peter Nilsson, the Swedish number 6. And every now and then you get a flurry of intensity from Sweden where they really try and get in the face of the opposition, but it's not a consistent thing.
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? Is they are able to do good things often enough, but not quite with the same level of consistency as the other teams, and that's why they're challenged to be getting themselves points in the tournament standings. And this is a difficult experience here for Sweden in this particular matchup, but they are a team that can match and do well and have good para ice hockey being played in periods, just not able to link them together over the course of 15 minutes and then 3 15-minute strong.
Goodness knows what's going off in that corner. There's about 4 jerseys in there, and I don't think the referee can get a handle on this either, because it's anyone's guess as to who's got the puck. Eventually it comes out, and now Sweden look to come forward. Good interception coming in there from Nade Sok. Just to slide it forward, looking for the inroads of Ru Jiran. And Korea again have puck possession. But just going back to Sweden, as that just goes again just in front of Nade Sok. That was agonising, almost got a right blade to it. And he'll look to try and come forward again now. And the attack breaks down and is well foiled by the Swedish defence. But going back to Jürgen Lundgren, as another shot comes in off the post. Well,
I don't think Newman saw that one. It was, you know, you got to remember, all these players are at the same height, and the puck can hide in behind them until it arrives over the top of them, and then it's right there on top of you in goal.
Well, the Koreans aren't giving me a chance to speak and make me point. They're not giving Sweden a chance to breathe either, because they are absolutely hammering on the door at the moment. Korea are a very impressive outfit, and if they were underdogs going into this tournament, then they certainly are contenders now for a podium finish. And of course, we keep touching on Sweden against Germany, 2 sides close to each other in the league ladder. Tomorrow, Korea take on Italy. So if this game doesn't whet the appetite for that one tomorrow, then I don't know what will. Han Min-soo fires it into the middle. It's not picked up by a dark blue jersey. And Sweden could eventually get it clear. And I will now say, Brent, thinking to Jürgen Lundgren, we said before the game that he may have one eye on tomorrow's game. He'll definitely have probably both eyes now fixed on tomorrow's game.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, at 5:30, just over 5:30 in this hockey game, it really is about seeing this game through with good integrity. The game has been played in a good spirit. That's an important thing as well. At no point does Sweden get a little unnecessary and go sort of headhunting or playing the game out of their nature, and that's an important thing to respect and regard, that in the spirit of Paralympic sport, that they play it to the best of their ability with the abilities that they are capable of displaying out here on the ice. But at no point are they undermining the integrity of what's going on here, because they compete from whistle to whistle and to the best of their ability from the beginning to the end.
So we will have a little break in play here at the Gangneung Hockey Centre, where the scores are Republic of Korea 6, Sweden 0. So there will be a penalty for Korea. The man in the penalty box will be the scorer of the first Korean goal, Gangneung. So Korea, for the next 2 minutes, will be down a man. But it was interesting, just before that penalty, you had the Korean coach, CEO Kwang-suk, despite the fact the 6-0 up, still urging his players forward to get another one. The hunger and desire on the Korean bench is absolutely fantastic to see.
Well, everything that they are able to achieve in a game like this, and of course over the whole period of a tournament, all tallies towards the hope and of course the ambition of getting potentially a medal, to be in a position like this in just under a year's time. I mean, you talk about a home story that of course there's all sorts of funding streams that go into this as well, and the higher you're likely to finish and the optimism towards that sets the table for a realistic ambition for where you might finish in the Paralympic Games. So everything is real, and these are entirely, of course, the livelihood of the coaching staffs to make sure these teams are as well prepared and as well performing throughout the course of these high-level tournaments.
Absolutely. Chance here for Sweden, and it's just fired wide. Rasper from Rasmus Lundgren going past the post. It was a real tasty drive from him. As we see the replay now, he got some venom behind that one.
Oh, he just got a huge shot off, didn't he? And you saw the power and put a dent in the end boards, but he wants to put a dent in the back of the net. That's the only challenge. Bulge the twine rather than the World Para Ice Hockey logo behind the net, and we've seen that more often than not, players really releasing absolute rockets for shots, but they end up going hard wide or hard high, and I'm sure the coaches pull their hair out, and little that they have still remaining. Sometimes in the lack of execution from the players, they would desperately love, I'm sure, better shooting accuracy from their players across the board.
Well, Lundgren with already a goal to his name in these championships. You would have hoped for another one there. But just touching on Korea's preparation for next year's Para-Winter Games. The action we've seen from all the sides has been absolutely fantastic and enthralling. It's really encapsulated the viewer as another shot goes in there. But remember, these sides are not the finished article at all for next year's games. They've still got 11 months of preparation to make sure next year's para ice hockey in the Paralympics will be absolutely an event to remember. And Korea will be there. Sweden will be hoping to join them, and that is why tomorrow's game is so important for them. Kasperi, as Sweden are still looking to make the most of the 30 seconds they have left of this power play. Ghost rounds the back of the net and looks for support as well, and it's very effective, and they've still got some energy left in the tank here, Sweden. What can they do with this? Good bit of possession. Lundgren. They're trying to find an angle, but again, they're forced around the back of the net. Lundgren, can he pull it back? Yes, he can. Kasperi blocks superbly. Still, they try and flick it in towards the back of the net, and somehow Korea scramble it away. And once again, manfully, they're defending their goal, and they look as if they may keep the concession tally at 0.
There's an example right there. Coming around the back of the net, we have seen some of the teams, Canada, United States, Republic of Korea, they've been able to make that play, even though the player may be right-hand dominant, they've been able to make that play as a backhand, one hand, sometimes to be able to execute it as a goal if they come around and they think there's some daylight to shoot it short side.
Holmer blasted over. The rebound is agonizingly put wide by Rasmus Lundgren. If he'd scored that, that would have been exceptional. Not only the pace in which it came back to him on the rebound, but the angle as well wasn't the kindest. And he just flashed it across the face of goal.
And when he got it off as quick as he possibly could, knowing he had to get it there before Gangneung had a chance to recover, and he, as you said, just got it with a tight angle, and he ends up going right across parallel to the goal line.
Just shows how Sweden have come. They've not been completely out of this at all, and that's just been fired into above the cage and into the net there.
That was Kim Young-sung, and he was the one that delivered that dart earlier for, I think it was the third goal at the time, as we look back at this chance here, how it goes across the goal. And really, for Gangneung, he was lucky not to have touched it. He could have very easily knocked that into his own goal, and he was just a half a second too late getting to it, and that was probably to his good fortune in that instance, as there's now a timeout being called by Republic of Korea. I think what they want to execute here as much as anything is not to concede anything in the remaining just over 2 minutes of this hockey game. He's talking about being smart, he's talking about playing to the game plan, and he's talking about initiating if there's an opportunity, but not taking an individual rush or something that's going to jeopardize their defensive shape.
And just from his mannerisms there and his characteristics, it really looked as if that was some sort of team talk before overtime or something. You won't believe his side was 6-0 up. Seo Swang-suk making sure that every minute counts in the remainder of this period.
That's the key, though, to coaching any high-level team, is getting teams to play their game to the best of their ability every time they play. Doesn't matter who your opponent is, you want them executing to their strengths and to what they're capable of doing. And if you can get that throughout the entire 45 minutes when there's always going to be natural lulls, that's how you create mental toughness, and that's how you keep a focused hockey team.
So the timeout runs out right on cue, and we are ready for action again. 2:12 remaining in this third period. Korea will definitely take the 3 points. They'll take their tally up to a very impressive 9 after 4 matches. Their only slip up against Canada, and even that was an impressive performance from them as well. In that 2-0 defeat, both the Canadian goals coming at the end of a period.
And you're right about that one. Republic of Korea were hanging tough with the Canadians, who still sit number 1 in the group. They played one more game than the United States have, but they fell today 2-1. And of course, that means the United States gets 3 points. Canada don't get anything from that hockey game. That, of course, was in regulation. And so this team, Republic of Korea, hung tough with one of the best teams in this tournament and making it 2-0, and they were a couple late period goals, and late period goals generally are all about mental toughness and about being disciplined, about being focused, and that's why the impetus of going on at the bench right now for Korea, even in this stage when they're up 6-0.
That was a fantastic show of pace there coming from Nae Dae-soo. He was just beaten to it in the end by a yellow jersey. And I think that was an offside call there from the linesman as well. But 90 seconds remaining. Korea will definitely be happy with their performance. They'll look to add to another one. But Sweden, certainly since that 6-1, have held in there and could have got a couple for themselves.
It was the right play to bring in Newman in goal and take a little bit of the pressure off Ulf Nielsen. Sweden's utilizing it as well, and Sweden is now getting prepared for their game against Germany. In live play, they're utilizing this chance here to make sure they're prepared because they didn't have training yesterday. And with that, he chose for his team to have a recovery time. And now that they're in a game, although they're down 6-0, this is a teaching point and an opportunity for his team to learn and to make sure that they stay on point here while the crowd's watching, while the camera's on, why it still matters and it's still live play in a World Championship hockey game.
Be very interesting to hear what Jürgen Lundgren has to say there. Of course, he knows this one is out of his side's reach, but they'll definitely be wanting to make Germany a bit fearful tomorrow as well. Mentally, the Germans will have an eye on this game, and they'll be seizing up their opposition. And Sweden don't want Germany feeling confident.
It's probably one small goal that has been set here for the remaining portion of this hockey game, and it's not to concede another goal against. And if that is the goal that they've set themselves for in the remaining 1 minute and 30, and they can go out and execute it, it's a small victory to build on in preparation for tomorrow's game.
So, 90 seconds remaining. Both sides have had their timeout, and it should be a clean run home to the finish, as Sweden look to get it out from the back. But Sweden actually haven't had their turn for a break yet. Of course, everybody had their break yesterday, but they still await, just like Canada, a break for themselves, which will come in the next couple of days or so. So they've really had a tricky schedule, and playing against the Koreans does not make things any easier. They've already played the Italians, the Norwegians, Canada and the USA as well. And they'll just be looking at the game tomorrow against Germany, definitely going for the 3 points, and then they'll get a day off after that one and hope that they're still in competition on Thursday.
The challenge for teams that are coming into a pool and, of course, competing to be in the higher ranks is that generally you have a tough journey. You don't get a favorable schedule. You don't necessarily get a day off when maybe you would have liked one. You end up having it work against you. And the teams that establish themselves in those positions, they get given a favorable tournament standing or tournament structure or schedule so that they can maintain them. It's all about working to get into a better position of strength. And Sweden here with this, hopefully a strong finish, don't concede again. They hopefully will set up for what could be a strong finish against Germany, and that would allow them maybe potentially to go in a 6th position rather than sitting as they currently do in 7th.
Fantastic anticipation there coming in by Nicholas Invarson as he slams it off the backboard, and that'll be the last action of this game. A resounding success for the Republic of Korea, who take their 9th points of this tournament. They've hit Sweden for 6. They've been absolutely superb. Young-Soo Wan, of course, the orchestrator of everything good, but it's been a really good, solid team performance defensively and offensively as well. Republic of Korea 6, Sweden 0.
Well, we've seen more scoring, obviously, from Republic of Korea than we have seen at any point in the tournament so far. They had 4 goals coming into this. Now, all of a sudden, they've just completely doubled their output. Now they've got 10 total, and you see greater balance, and you start to see a little bit more complexion to their lineup, as opposed to really a couple players that have been carrying the majority of the responsibility offensively so far. So a good overall team performance that will help the Republic of Korea really feel that they belong where they currently do in these tournament standings.
Both sides must have definitely seen this as a rehearsal for their respective games tomorrow. Korea lock horns with the mighty Italians, and Sweden take on Germany. Both sides in both games know just how important tomorrow is. Their tournament really does depend on it. Of course, for Korea, they will definitely finish in that top 6. They'll definitely have a game on Thursday, but who will they be playing against, and what will they be playing for? Will it just be for a 5th position, or will it be in the bronze medal match?
Well, the teams that are likely to be competing for those positions as well are Italy and Norway, who are really going to create the greatest difficulty for them. But that victory for Republic of Korea over Norway just a couple of days ago, you saw how disappointed Norway were at the time, that they realized that it was going to be difficult for them, that they weren't certain that they were going to be competing potentially for a bronze medal in this tournament. They may, in fact, as they are right now, sit in 5th position. So things will get interesting as we move into day 6 tomorrow.
Absolutely. And we just await the Man of the Match award presentations. It'll be very interesting to see if they haven't picked Young-Soo Wan for the Republic of Korea, who they have indeed chosen, because I'm sure it was a very short shortlist for the team in navy blue. In terms of Sweden, there's been a couple of good performances. Nicholas Ingvarsson certainly has to have a mention, as does Per Kasperi. Those two have clocked a lot of miles in this game, and a lot of minutes as well. Of course, coach Jürgen Lundgren has called on a small selection of his players, just the 9. Which one of them will be taking the honour of man of the match for Sweden in this one?
It'll be an interesting call for player of the game for Sweden. I think just to wait now, the official announcement here. Flip a coin. I think there's a few good, strong performances, but just wait for that now. For Sweden, equally, I think you're right. Across, it's quite clear that Jung-Si Won is likely to be nominated with that award. And Nicholas Rakos is going to get the player of the game for Sweden, as he does the lap of honor and comes out and taps the sticks of all of his teammates, and he'll come across and accept his award.
That shows your team morale, though, for Sweden. You see some sides that lose and they don't bother with the high five with the sticks afterwards, but of course Nicholas Rakos and his teammates recognise the efforts that each of them have put in, and they know that all is not lost. Tomorrow is the game that they must win and take 3 points from. And you see as well that they are good individual players, Sweden, there's no doubt about it. We certainly didn't run out of names there to mention for that award. It's just about getting them to gel as a team, find their strength and play to it. And you feel that Jürgen Lundgren's side is certainly a work in progress. And certainly another side that aren't the finished product is the Republic of Korea. And there's a surprise, number 12, Kim Young-sung has got the award, one of the goal scorers in today's game. He'll certainly be thanking Young-Sung Wan as well for his performance, but really it's a 9 out of 10 all around for the Korean side.
They were great, and you know, they found a way to get greater distribution and balance throughout their lineup, and that's what they need to be able to deliver, and for the whole team to feel more confident as this tournament goes on, and then to, as you say, to make sure they really start to feel about themselves that they are a team legitimately worthy of competing for a medal at World Championship level in Pool A, where they were, of course, 2 years ago competing in Pool B. So not only are they the hosts of this tournament coming up in the Paralympic Games in a year's time, but they've got a chance here to compete for a medal by right. And it's an exciting time for para ice hockey in the Republic of Korea.
And this performance just emphasises what I said pre-match as well. Talking to the assistant coach, Taeo Kim, he was a bit modest. He raised a wry smile when I mentioned the prospects of a bronze medal, and he tried to dampen expectations, but he knows that his side are well in with a chance as we wait for the Republic of Korea's national anthem.
As always, the teams shake hands at center ice, and as you can see, confirmation of the scoreline here this evening. Republic of Korea with a 6-0 defeat over Sweden and a well-earned scoreline. They just had the 1-0 lead after one. They got better as the game went on. They scored 2 in the second period and then follow it up in the third period here with 3 more goals.
And we raised, stupidly, Brent, before the game, a couple of question marks. How would Republic of Korea take on the pressure of being the side that had to take the game to the opposition rather than being the one issuing attacks on the counter? And the answer to a plum, and they'll probably be looking at us after going experts. What experts?
Good scenes there from Sweden. And of course, Republic of Korea, the coaches, there is a great spirit amongst Paralympic sport as they all are equally as respectful to each other for the journeys they all take to compete at the top of their chosen sports. And you see a great respect equally from Republic of Korea. Even the people here, as we've been here, whether it be in the arena, the officials, whether it be the volunteers, the fans alike, they're equally as enthused to be hosting and to be sharing their country and of course their facility and what's to becoming the biggest event on the planet in just under a year's time in both the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games to come. So we enjoyed some great action there over 45 minutes of play. I'm Brent Pope alongside Jonathan Bell, and we'll take a look back over that final 15 minutes of play and we'll review just the 3 goals that did get scored in that third period. And this was just created, he just broke the play up himself, didn't he? It was just a singular rush, and he really handcuffs Ulf Nielsen on this play. It's such a well-taken goal, slotted just inside the post there, but he made that whole play happen by breaking it up in the neutral zone.
Yeah, you sort of feel like a supporter every time he gets to puck, Young Sung Wan, because they get excited. We do as well. You can tell with sort of the tone of the voice changes every time he picks up the puck and charges towards the goal. It was a superb finish there. This one, very fortuitous, and you had to feel for Ulf Nielsen. I think that was the cue to sort of maybe think about taking him off and change goaltender, because he certainly didn't deserve that sort of misfortune at all.
Well, yes, it's an unfortunate goal. It's a mental lapse. He comes across his body, which is the difficult part. He's bracing himself with his glove hand, and then he comes across himself. And when you get a little tired, you get a little exhausted, and you've been in a long tournament, he doesn't quite extend far enough, quickly enough to be able to avoid that. And then here's another great finish. Newman comes in goal for Sweden, but it's the same result. And ultimately, that shot is so well placed. Make no mistake of it. This was short-handed, remember, as well, as they just come into a gorgeous position here, and Jung Si-won just goes into an area there's just no chance for Newman as he goes right past his ear, up high into the goal as we look at the game statistics.
Yeah, and you can see a big margin, not only in scoreline, but the shots on goal as well. You can't argue with the score not being a fair reflection. The face-offs won as well. Korea just had a little bit more hunger. As I said in commentary, Sweden seemed to come on in little flurries. Every now and then they'd have a burst of energy, a burst of intent, and they'd look to get the puck back. But Korea consistently were at it, and I think that's what separates the two sides, particularly defensively.
So an opportunity here as well. We'll look over the entire tournament standings, and Canada, as we say, Canada and USA tied on 12 points. USA with one less game. Now Republic of Korea with 9 points as a result of playing 4 games. Italy and Norway make up the top 5. That game tomorrow, Germany, Sweden, determines who's going to be sitting in a 6th position, who's going to be fitting in a 7th position, but really the top 5 starting to shape themselves out now.
Yeah, big game that tomorrow between Germany and Sweden, as you outlined there, but also we've got the Republic of Korea taking on Italy as well. Those are the 2 latter games, but the former game tomorrow will be the USA taking on Norway tomorrow here at the Gangneung Hockey Centre here in the Republic of Korea, and we definitely can't wait for that one. If the USA show the sort of form that we've seen so far today, and also what they showed today in that big grudge match against Canada, then they'll definitely be licking their lips at the prospect of Norway tomorrow.
Lots of action, as Jonathan is saying. I'm Brent Pope alongside with Jonathan Bell, and we've enjoyed covering this one. Of course, always Republic of Korea, an interesting prospect. They came here and entertained their home crowd again here tonight. They put on a great display, scoring 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third, and a very impressive evening's work as well from the home side. So for day number 5 and match day number 5, that's us from the Gangneung Hockey Center from the Republic of Korea. We'll say goodbye for now. Until tomorrow, make sure to join us.